The coaching. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, goodbye. Thank you. Mr. Coach. Hi, Coach. How you doing? Captain coming as well. All recording material at the front.
Yep.
I'm going to start online first. Okay. Good afternoon once again. We have the Exeter Chiefs head coach with us. I'm now going to open the floor for questions. We're going to go online first, please. Go ahead.
Hi, Rob.
Guys?
It must say something about the performance today that no doubt you're bitterly disappointed not to come away with at least something from that game.
Yeah, I mean, we talked at length about the important thing when you go away from home in this competition is you get something from the game, and we just about created that opportunity. I think with a period of the game to go, with the yellow cards and the pressure we were creating, whether I think one try to get the forward try bonus probably would have felt like it could have led to an opportunity in the second one, which maybe then the 2 points, and then all of a sudden it's a horrible pressure last few minutes for the Sharks, but ultimately they weathered it at the same time as we probably blew it a little bit, and that's a bit the tale of where we are as a team, isn't it? We're having a frustrating season where we're getting very, very close to managing to find a way of losing games almost, but it will come. No one would have watched that game today and thought there wasn't a good spirit in the team, and that they weren't out there fighting for each other and they weren't trying to create opportunities. We had some good traction at scrum time and with our driving ball, which bodes well for us moving forward. And I just said to the lads, we are a team on a bit of a journey, but our job as coaches and everybody's job as a player is just trying to accelerate that process as much as possible and try and create some of these games into closer games or into wins.
What score when they have 12 men sacked up down to experience or just decision making?
It's a little bit like the tail of the season. It's a little bit of everything, and at the same time, we are changing a few things. So, I thought the lads played a little bit more heads-up rugby today. There was a few more kind of semi-offloads, a few more little half breaks. We supported each other with smaller passes. We were getting that part of it. I think we looked like a team in transition with our defensive structures because there's a period there that kind of our biggest problem in the game in a lot of ways was that 10-15 minute period in the first half. We were 7-0 up. We conceded 3 or 4 tries, all conceded on that transition of either turnover or us kicking to space. It almost felt like we put ourselves under pressure when the Sharks were under pressure. We found space in behind them, and that created 3 tries for them because our last defender was just jumping in after 3 times. We've talked at length now 3-4 weeks. That's not how we want to defend. We want to buy ourselves some time in those transition periods to give ourselves a chance to restart. But it's just some of it's just little habits that are just still ingrained there, and everyone's trying to jump in and solve problems on their own, and we've just got to grow through that and experience it and learn from it. And then that 12-man period, we've just got to be more clinical. We've got to have some clear-headed decision making. but we've also got to have, you know, have clinical ability to make and catch passes at times sometimes, haven't we? Because that'll let us down a little bit as well.
Must be very pleased about opening 20, I would think,
If I look at the 80 minutes and I look at the season we're having and what the players are learning and their attitude to doing anything, how they've been over this season, there's a lot of positives for us. But I also do understand, it feels like I'm saying that quite a lot. You know, the Bath game is a perfect example. You look at the Bath result last night, you know, that shows kind of where they are. You know, they fight back and they lose to La Rochelle by a few points. We're a team who have expectations to winning these kind of things. But they got back to get something. We needed to get back to get something today after we had that bad period. And we felt the same a bit about the Bath result last week. We get the losing bonus point late on, but there was more in the game for us, and we just got to keep fighting together to come through this. And you know, as I said, you know, we're not a team at the end of this journey by any means. We are a team at the beginning of this journey. But it would be nice to accelerate the process a little bit and get a few good feel-good results happening.
Of course, European champions next at Saturday, not next Sunday.
Yeah, well, that's the key, isn't it? Now we've got to get ourselves back. We've got to get in shape, and we've got to put a performance on the field in front of a big crowd that we're very proud of. And as I say, you know, gives us opportunities to get something out of the game. You know, it's in us. It's going to break in a minute. You can kind of feel it, and that's why it gets a little bit frustrating when just as you feel the momentum's going your way, we just kind of don't quite see something off. But I've been in these. I hate to keep saying it, I've been in these situations a few times before. Today was a way more comfortable game to watch and coach and be part of than some of the times we went away to Clermont Auvergne. I mean, we went to Clermont Auvergne sometimes, it looked like we were running backwards, you know, and it'd be 60 points and it didn't look like we were ever going to score. It doesn't feel like that today, and none of the games this season have felt like that. It's just we've got to get a couple of wins and mix in the money.
Thank you. Next question online.
It is, but it's we you know we've got to hold our hands up as well as coaches. We've got to go right. Are we getting the right practices in place? Are we giving them all these opportunities to feel all these broken field situations? And we've got to keep working at it. It's never just a one-way street. We've got to keep getting better. We've got to keep working at it. We've got to give them lots of opportunities to practice these things in training. We're doing that. You know, we're doing that. We're trying to push through with these kind of elements of how we train and how we play. And we've just got to keep going. You know, some of it we're seeing, and it's really pleasing. Some of it is going to take a little bit of a while. We've got to get there. You know, we are a team that's changed a few things, and it's going to take a little while for it to really settle in.
How much you go back to yesterday year and some of the games you had, you had boys come around some of the young ones. Do you have that experience that you had in the past? You know, when you look on the field, that somebody can just take a grip and just say, lads, do this.
Yes and no. I think yes and no, because I think what happened was we had the opportunity to grow and learn those experiences, didn't we? And right here and now, we're kind of hoping that it all happens in the space of 2 seasons. You know, we had a good season last year with a good players. Most of them had only ever hadn't played any Premiership rugby. And I know we had a couple of lads in there. Like Jacques was around a bit, Slady was around a bit. But outside of that, it was a very, very new group playing really their frontline seasons. And that excitement and that energy and the World Cup at the start of the year creates some different scenarios for them to let us get a bit of winning momentum. We haven't had that this season. Plus, we've had some of those more experienced players unavailable. You know, Jacques in that initial period started 1 game. Slady started the last game. Daff was unavailable for the whole period. You know, we had that through that, and that meant we didn't get that little bit of momentum. Win 2 or 3 games, and we'd be sitting there going, the season's tracking along pretty well, and you can see where the potential is. Right here and now, we're a team with massive potential, but we've got to force a couple of wins to make everyone feel good about it. Well, I mean, we have to keep moving forward, but I don't think we can really just sit here and go, no, you have to move forward now, because we haven't got the player group to change. Right here and now, these young players, they've got to learn, they've got to do it, and we want to try and speed up the process. you know, it's there. It's within them, and we've got to grow together over a period of 2 or 3 seasons. I don't mind saying, you know, I understand what you're saying. Is, well, how long can that process happen before ultimately massive things have to change? Right here and now, I think while it feels positive, and it feels like we're moving forward day by day, we're okay. And I certainly think we'll win enough games this season to end up feeling like an okay season by the end. I'm certainly more positive than it does now, but only time can tell that.
Final 2 questions online. Are there any further questions?
Well, just from you, you know, we talk about your halfbacks a lot. When you fail to capitalise on that kind of big 3-man advantage, does it rest on their shoulders largely?
I can see why you kind of sometimes say yes, because obviously they've got to be key decision makers, but there is an element of responsibility across the team. And there's also, like, as I say, there's an element across the coach group, make sure we're telling them the right things and doing the right things. You know, but this is what I mean about learning as you go day by day, week by week, and understanding scenarios. So we called a scrum today with that numerical advantage, and we did the play today that we probably should have done against Bath last week in the wet. Do you see what I mean? And because we talked about it and said, oh, would this have been the better play to have called last week against Bath? That's the one we called today. Even though we had the numerical advantage today in a different way. But do you see what I mean? Like, sometimes you have to experience each one of them to go, right, that would have been the right one to call on a wet day because it was easier to convert. This one's the one to call today on a nice day where the numerical advantage is slightly different, set in a slightly different way. As frustrating as it is, that's what it will take. It will take us going through these experiences to be able to get that and then go, right, now I've got the menu, I understand how they all work, and I'm going to pick the right ones. We do have to get through this process. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Final question? Are there any final questions? Thank you, Coach, for your time. Thank you, media, for yours.